Hi, today I am giving my review of the second volume of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, the second installment in the Heartstopper graphic novel series. I recently started reading this series. I read the first one a little while ago and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. There were a lot of things I liked about it. I have a review of that book on my channel and I'll be reviewing each of the books in the series. Now, I've said in the title that this will be a spoiler-free review, so what exactly does that mean when it comes to a review of a sequel? Basically, the way I'm going to try to do it is just sort of like, they mention some things that happened in the previous book, in this case, the first book. Ultimately, I think the best people to watch this, unless you don't care about being spoiled with this series, are people who have either already read this book or read up until this point, like read up until the book before this book. So I will go a little into stuff that happened in the first book. So that's how that works. If you really just want to go into reading this without knowing really anything about what happens in this book, then it would probably just be best to watch this video after you've read it. So yeah, I enjoyed the first volume and I was excited to see more of the series. I figured I would like it even more the more it went on. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever read ever, but it was pretty good. I liked a lot about it. When it comes to romance, I can be picky because there are certain things that I kind of expect, or at least want to see. Like, I don't want to see characters who just meet each other and then they fall in love or whatever because they find each other attractive. I care about them having a genuine connection. I want to get to know them. Characters are very important to me in any novel. I want to know about the characters and their lives, their backstories, their families, their personalities, their interests, their hobbies, and I felt that I got that with the first book of this. So besides getting those things that I was hoping to see, some more things I like about this series that also apply to this second book are I find it very cute and wholesome, but it's not just like happiness the whole time. It does get serious, and I think it is realistic in some ways. I really like the art style of this series as well, and I think that in this book I started to like it even more. I didn't notice any sort of improvement, not that it needed any. I thought it was fine just the way it was. I'm just saying I liked it more because I've seen more of it, and so now I'm getting even more used to it. It's got this really nice light green, black and white color scheme, and that's what it's like throughout the whole series. And yeah, it is serious sometimes. I remember the first volume went over some stereotypes about gay people and dismantled them, and so it is about, you know, the stigma and stuff, and not just like two cute boys in love and everything is fine and they don't have any problems. It's not like that. Generally though, I do feel that the series, so far from what I've read, has had a pretty nice, positive, sweet, soft tone, and I enjoy that. I think it's nice to have something like that. Something that's, I guess you could say, sort of light and fluffy. With it being a graphic novel and also it just being very contemporary, it's pretty easy to follow along with. So basically, I feel that this is a nice, fun, light, easy read, but I think it's still important. So in the first volume, our two main characters, Nick and Charlie, these two teenage high school boys living in England, met in a class together at school and they became friends, and it spans over a few months and just goes over them getting to know each other. And Charlie was getting out of a relationship, not really, it was a bad situation that he was in. He was getting out of that and we learn more about that and we see him and Nick connect. And the first book kind of ended on a cliffhanger, kind of like in the middle of a situation, in the middle of conflict. So this book picks up where that one left off, and this book is really about the, I would say, official start of Nick and Charlie's relationship and about them going through that. Now also, as is explored through the first book, while Charlie has already been openly out as gay for a while, Nick has not quite figured out his identity yet. So this book is very much about him. It still has like both their perspectives. I'd say mostly Charlie's. I feel like he's definitely the main character, but this book is very much about Nick figuring out his identity. That's a big part of this one. At the start of their relationship, especially because Nick is not fully sure of his identity, like, it's not just that he's not out yet, he's just not even sure what he is. He's not sure what he identifies as. He thought he was straight, and then he became close to Charlie and started having feelings for him, so he's really questioning that. So especially because Nick is not very sure of his identity, right now they want to keep their relationship a secret, and they're in the process of figuring out when and how to tell people, if they want to tell people, and how to go about that, when should they do it, if they should do it at all. And it shows the different ways to approach that. Like, one of them is kind of like, oh, you don't even need to come out or announce this thing if you don't want to. And so it shows it like that instead of saying that there's one right way to approach that. So while the first book had some of that, I think that this book really goes into some of the complexities of figuring out your sexuality, especially when you're young and still figuring out who you are and still figuring out your life and what you want to do, I imagine that would be particularly difficult. So a lot of what's in this book is just very contemporary, very normal. They go to different places, they interact with people at school, at home, things like that, and contemporary is my favorite genre, so I really enjoy all the normal stuff. I can enjoy fantasy and things like that as well, but it's not my favorite. So like I said, everything in this was pretty easy to follow along with, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing intellectual in it or that it's just fluff. I think, like I said, it does go over important topics. Like many people, I think I always enjoy having multiple perspectives in a book. Now this book isn't exactly the same as in a novel where it might say like what character's perspective it's from, but it's pretty easy to see because it's illustrated, so you can easily see whose thoughts or whatever you're reading. And I like that this series shows both their perspectives. Like I said, I'd say it's mostly Charlie, but it does show a lot from Nick's perspective as well. Like maybe he's at home and Charlie's not there and it shows whatever he's doing, and that's really good, because if it were just from Charlie's perspective, we could hear about what Nick is struggling with, but we don't really see it. So getting to see his perspective, we really see his specific thoughts, insecurities, and struggles that he has, that he is going through. But like the first book, I really enjoyed this one as well. I think it's very wholesome and cute. I really enjoy their relationship. I think that they have a lot of healthy communication in this book, and I think that they are very understanding of each other. I think that they do have a genuine connection and are very supportive, and it's not just based on physical attraction or anything like that. And it is still serious at times, and there is still drama, like there was some drama in the first book. In this book, we learn more about some of the side characters, which I was hoping we would see in future installments. We especially learn about Charlie's friend group and Nick's friend group as they meet each other, and that's where some of the drama comes in. I thought it was nice to get to know more about the side characters, and I think we will see more of them in the future. There is even a little mini comic at the end about two of them. I mentioned the art earlier in this video. Yeah, I really like the art. I think that it's really cute. I really like the color scheme of it, and I think that it is creative and expressive. And I think that it does a great job at expressing like emotions and stuff whenever words aren't being said. So yeah, I personally think that the art in this is very visually appealing. I think it's unique. If you've read this, I would love to hear your thoughts just in general, but especially on the art, if you like it or you don't like it. I enjoyed in this book seeing Charlie and Nick basically hide their relationship. I thought that was really cute. Now as the reader, you know that they're together, but not everybody else knows that, and so it was cute seeing them in different settings, especially like in school, trying to hide it. In my opinion though, they are not the best at being completely subtle. There are just a lot of little things about the Heartstopper books that I've been enjoying so far. I enjoy like the places they go to. Nick has a dog named Nellie and she's really cute. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you the dog. Yeah, there is the dog, Nellie. She's a very cute dog. Charlie loves her. I think she's great. I think I always enjoy animals in books. I know I've mentioned before in previous videos that maybe I will watch the Netflix TV show adaptation of these books someday. I'm thinking probably like after I finish reading the books, though from my understanding I think there's a 6th book that is yet to be released, but the TV show has already started, so I don't quite know how different it is from the books. I imagine it would maybe be very different because the graphic novels, comics, whatever they are, they can go by pretty fast, and TV shows are not very fast, so we'll have to see what that's like. But yeah, I don't plan on watching it anytime soon, but I think I will eventually try it out, see what it's like, but probably not till I'm done reading at least all the books that are currently out. But I do believe the 6th upcoming book is the last one, and I've mentioned before that there are other books in this universe as well, like the novel Solitaire, where they originally showed up, but that book is from the perspective of Charlie's older sister. And there are some novellas and other things, and I do plan on reading all of those as well as some of this author's other books. Heartstopper was the first book of hers I've read, but I have become interested in her, and I would definitely like to read more of her books. I think a lot of them sound really interesting, and they seem to often have themes of identity and sexuality, so I think that those are important topics, and I think that I would enjoy learning about perspectives that I may not be able to relate to. I think that that's a great thing about books. You can really learn about it, and it's really good for building empathy. I've started to like some of the side characters more. I really enjoy Nick's mom, for example. I think that she's very sweet. I've really enjoyed this series so far. It has overall been something with colors that are nice, soft, and warm. The words are just as sweet as well. So I'm really enjoying these two characters together, and I look forward to seeing more of them. I especially loved the ending of this one. It was definitely less of a cliffhanger than the first book. In fact, from what I remember, it wasn't really much of a cliffhanger at all. I mean, it was kind of like this thing happened, then the other character is eventually going to find out about it, but it definitely wasn't on such a dramatic note as the first one. So it looks like not all the books are going to end like that. Not that I mind, I'm just describing it, especially in case you haven't read these but are interested in doing so. Like the first volume, this one also had some cool extra stuff at the end. As I mentioned earlier, there's the mini comic, but there were some other things as well, and so that was nice. It's nice to see the author really give us a little more information about the characters and things within this world. I think I can tell that she really cares about them and enjoys her characters. So there are my thoughts on the second volume of Heartstopper. I really enjoyed this, and at the time of recording this, I am currently reading the third one, and I am enjoying it so far. I won't say much more about it, that'll be for that review. But if you've read this book or anything by this author, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you for watching.